Here we go. Boy, so what was it? 2 weeks ago, our crew liberated Rayuna and captured all the word keepers and Delmeri, the word giver. And I think we closed off with a general celebration and it's a pretty crazy combination of factors for the villagers in that they thought you were all dead. And then not only did you reappear, but you removed the prevailing forces of oppression that have been hanging over them. So I think there's a lot of strong feelings and amazing release of tension. So yeah, there's a lot of joy. And I think after enjoying that and the, what did we figure out? There was that, I think the next day the wagon arrives from the cave, right? With all your stuff on it. And I can't remember what I said about, I remember that you guys decided that the word keepers needed to see local justice, basically, needed to be kind of judged according to the village's protocols, which meant, I think, like tying them to the tree. Is that what, that's what I said, right? Yeah, so they're basically tethered to the tree. They have some range of movement, but that's where they are. But I can't remember what happened to El Mary. Was he included in that? Or did you guys, okay, so he's included in that. Okay, great.
He was.
So the 5 of them are all basically gathered at the tree. That's where, I guess, there's the big celebration, the big party, and then the next day at dawn, there's a kind of ceremony where Tinny kind of presides over, says some words about how they will be held here, close to the old tree, and I think within within a day or two, they'll have to be, I mean, there's not really a trial. I guess they're just going to be, judgment will be passed on them.
I had a crazy idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be a new idea or one that was a established old idea, but sending them off into the motherwood and letting the motherwood decide their fate.
Yeah, that had occurred to me also. And in fact, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think your tradition is? Specifically Taimi and Paiviki. Paiviki, you did grow up here. Taimi's the one who was sort of born and raised Reunion, but the two of you would definitely know what the system is.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about that idea?
I mean, I don't know if there's precedent for this. Like,
right.
And not to say something cross about the wisdom of the forest, but you know, I just we don't know whether the forest would be able to deal with this,
right,
in a just way.
Yeah, I mean, I was imagining, and I don't know, maybe this is a silly idea, but if you send somebody off, I was remembering the kind of like the idea of like a trial or rite of passage or a trial that Paiviki went through, that if you had somebody that was in question of some kind, whether they were deserving of some punishment or not, and you didn't really know the answer, then if you sent them off into the motherwood, if the motherwood decided that they weren't deserving of punishment, then they would obviously come back unscathed,
Right.
and that if something really bad happened to them, then it's off of the shoulders of the people, and said, well, then they deserved it. It seems, it's like a very I don't know what, like relying on
Yeah, you leave it to the fates, right?
leave it to the fates or the spirits of the forest to decide, sort of beyond the decision making of people.
Yeah. And that's, you just mentioned that that's when you don't know. I mean, but you do know what these guys have done. And none of them have like harmed anyone. There may have been some like roughing up here and there, but nobody was, but they basically exerted authority and made people feel kind of under their heels. There's fear, right? There's like fear.
Right.
They're outsiders and they decided that they were in control. So they're sort of like whatever their crimes may be. And Almeri maybe being the most guilty, because in some ways he could be seen to be betraying his people. I mean, he's not from this area, but he is a person who's native to this land. Would you say that he's the worst violator, like that he's sort of done the worst? I know Taimi probably feels that way.
There was also the issue of the punishment for the brewer's partner.
Oh yes, right.
Got sent to the capital supposedly to be executed, but we don't really know what happened to her.
Right. Yep.
So Almeri, I guess she had supposedly stolen something.
Yep. Right. So that would be the most egregious thing that has happened. Yeah. So alternatives to sending them into the woods to let the woods decide. I mean, Tinny's the sort of town elder.
That was just a crazy idea. I don't mean to
Yeah.
That's what we should do.
And we don't have to settle it right now. We can get
Yeah.
onto stuff that you guys want to think about. But I just was wondering if you had any
I
idea.
think I was just trying to imagine, like, what would people do
Yeah.
who don't have like a system of governance, but who kind of leave their fate up to the spirits of the trees or whatever.
Yeah, my thought was, the thing that occurred to me was strip them naked, take them to the edge of the Motherwood, send them in, and like have a cordon of villagers at there just to like make sure that they don't come out the way you send them in, and then whatever happens is what happens. That's pretty harsh, but like that was the thought that occurred to me. If we're basing their ethos on this kind of relationship to nature, how would nature treat these folks?
Well, and you could say that they're allowed to come back after a couple of days or something, and see how that goes.
Right. So we'll think about that some more, but right now, the more pressing.
Jason and I have thought about this. You guys are like, what are you talking about?
Well, no, because I'm just wondering, like, with the Motherwood, do we assume it's like balanced, or is it's like really harsh out there, right? It's like there's possibly giant predator bird things.
I think Taimi knows the most about the Motherwood.
Well, yeah, there's bramble cats, there's those frog-faced deer, there's
That's right.
all sorts of poisonous plants. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
You got to be tough to apply the Motherwood, right? I mean, you got to be.
Yeah, to really get into the heart of it.
Yeah, were you going to say something, John?
No.
Oh, I thought you said, okay.
I would imagine that you could also get lucky and find things to eat in there, and perhaps avoid some of those dangers.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a trial, and it's really interesting because it makes you think about the origins of the word trial. Like you put somebody on trial, but there's also you have to undergo a trial. Is also something you have to endure, right?
Mhm.
And I'm certain there are cultures in the world that approached it that way, like
Right.
send them out to sea and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let the sea decide or whatever.
I think one of the things that like resonates with me about that kind of like letting it out of our hands, let nature take its course, is that it is in some ways very oppositional to the Tolkien idea of law and the high court and the word.
Right. Yeah, very much so.
And if we're sitting here like we don't need to be ruled, then I think that this would be like one of the big expressions of that is, our way. We don't need the word.
We choose the wood over the word. Good. Well, I mean, that gives us some area to work with there. So we don't have to settle their fate at this moment, but that's a great.
We just need them to not be able to leave the village for like 4 days. That's all. That's all I care about.
Here's the deal. We can send them into the Motherwood, but can we just guarantee Motherwood's not going to send them after us or warn anybody? Okay, so next morning, was anybody down hit points or anything?
Ooh, let me check.
I'm down a lot of ability points, but no hit points.
Yeah, so 1 night's rest, no need to roll. It's a very restful sleep. You get 1 plus your con modifier points back.
There we go.
Okay, so this is like after the party.
Yeah, this is the morning after. And I've
Oh, there's
marked
no on this character sheet. There's no section for stash, is there?
on the digital character sheet.
Yeah.
No, I guess not. Right, those character keepers that we.
I like them. Get out.
That's in the drive, right? What's the title of that file, John?
It's just called PC Records.
There we go. Thank you.
We can
Yeah,
go
there's no
there
place for
if we want.
stash.
Because we wanted to distribute the gifts, right? We've got gifts. We can unload stuff from our
Yeah. Your wagon of treasure.
yeah.
What do you got to give away?
11 bundles of fur.
Oh, yeah. Carton Kitty, is that what you're looking at? Carton Kitty.
Yeah.
Ooh, bundles of fur. A bent copper ladle.
Right.
Well,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
we also have some like figurines and stuff? There's some stuff that I feel like we have that's not on here. Do you have some stuff, Paiviki?
I mean, I was carrying the conch shell that was like a gift from Saltwall.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down all this stuff. Where is it?
Yeah, the treasure from the caves is not on here, I don't think. Oh, the first came from that. But like the sash.
Right. Silver. I can't even read my own writing. Oh, a silver coin with flame and water on either side. A copper miniature of a 4-legged animal.
Those are all things that you're carrying.
No, just stuff that we, I think, threw into the heart. The carnelian.
Yeah. Okay.
Some other red stones, a faceted aquamarine, silver circlet, silver earrings like flames.
Yeah.
A
So
gold,
that's a lot of treasure you got there.
a gold box. I think the significant was like a gold box with a folded cloth of this bright color sash from the Enin people, most likely.
Yep.
Which, we never really messed around with any of that stuff to see if it had any magical properties.
That's right.
Should probably do that. Hocus pocus.
So what are we interested in getting rid of for stash? I.e. XP.
Yeah, good one. So, John, when you look at the wagon, is there anything there that you want to dump?
Obviously, the conch shell gift, we'll get rid of that, but that's not stash.
Right.
And then the 11 bundles of fur, I don't have any use for that. Do either of you have any use for?
No.
So yeah, we're gonna get rid of that.
Okay.
Um,
And we'll say in this case, stashing is like, it could be just distributing it to the villagers. That could count. Or however you guys want to think of it fictionally. But yeah, sorry, go on. The furs.
I think that's it from here. And then some of that more serious treasure, what were you all thinking of? Do you want to go through the process of checking some of that stuff, Jan?
I think I would like to just kind of see if there's any way to notice if there's anything funny about one of these objects before we gift it to somebody, or I guess one way, like you're saying, is to, in our village sort of economy, if you like gift people things, it's kind of like banking your wealth for future gifts in return or whatever.
We could think of it that way.
I see one thing on the list that says, like, I think it says 3 hides, 1 lizard skin. I can't.
I totally don't remember that.
Can't quite read it.
Here, I'm compiling a list, which I will, and I'll put it up on the screen so that everybody can see it, so you know what you're looking at here. Meanwhile, while I do that, you guys can talk about your plans.
Yeah. Was there somebody who was like watching us from the woods as we were celebrating, looking kind of menacing?
There was someone from Rayuna that like kind of left the revelry shadily.
No. You guys imagined that.
Yeah,
at the end of our session, you were like, you were imagining. We keep our eyes out, and you said like somebody, we keep our eyes out for people that leave disgruntled or that sneak off into the woods. But they didn't. Nobody actually did that you could see.
Well,
I think that could have just been like narrative flair.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
That's the real thing that we probably need to think about, is if there is somebody in the village who would sort of betray us and go and tell the hand that we were what had happened. Maybe we should put out people in the woods or something to watch, or something.
Yeah, like your some of your La Devacy folks.
Yeah.
Some of your your crew of 25 people.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna just add these items to the Cart and Kitty file without their weights and whatnot, just so you can see them on there. They're not in the cart.
Okay, thank you.
So there they are. Oh yeah, so the furs were incorporated into the cart there.
So I think that the oxidized copper figurine fell into the waterfall and was lost forever.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Actually, I don't think you guys got the tapestry. That doesn't ring a bell, right?
I don't remember that.
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. Well, there was one.
Dang it.
Yeah, okay. And then we got some gemstones. As far as things that you'd be curious about if they had any special properties, it looks like silver circlet, the earrings, the gold box, and the brightly colored fabric would be the most possible candidates.
The fabric and the what?
Those last items on the list there would be the most.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
Wow, a fist-sized aquamarine.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, so maybe there's a moment where you're all kind of you pull back the tarp on what's in the cart, and you're all kind of, and those things themselves are individually wrapped up or in sacks or whatever, and then you kind of are sort of going through the stuff and remembering where you got it, and thinking about what to do with this stuff. So yeah, when you stash stuff, after you stash it, which in this case would be however you want to describe it, it could be giving it away to villagers or digging a hole and burying it for retirement later. After you stash it, I tell you how much it was worth, and you get experience points for it.
Oh wow, we could level up. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to deal with our treasure, or do we want to try to make a plan for how to proceed? I know you guys have thought of a very carefully laid out plan.
I would vote treasure. If you're going to do stuff to find out whether it's magical, having stuff might change the plan, or that might affect it in some way.
That's true.
It also just feels narratively like a good time, the celebration. Like, oh, we're back, we're not
Right.
dead, and here's all this treasure to start this new
Right.
wonderful friendship with La Devacy.
So let's just say we're going through the treasure, and I'm like, Marin, Taimi, we've never had a chance to breathe and really look at this stuff. What do you think that this could be? This could have some sort of magic that could help us against the hand, or what do you think, Taimi? And Paiviki takes the cloth with all the different patterns written on it. Like, what do you think that this could do? And I kind of swoosh it around like Taimi, like.
She tightens up a bit. I wouldn't know of these things. It is certainly incredibly beautiful, but I'm not able to feel the things that you feel.
Well, remember the Locke, who is always curious. Maybe it just takes some curiosity. Mirren, have you ever seen any of these types of things before? Do you have any experience with things made by the Inen?
Despite yeah, despite how much I've traveled, not once have I actually made it to like an tomb or and found their actual items. So they probably are very valuable in a sense. So yeah, I'm also just not sure what, yeah, beyond the like the richness of it, I don't know what else they could represent.
Hmm. Shall we try an experiment?
Like what?
Well, and then so we have like the circlet made of silver, and Vicky says, "Does anyone want to try it on?"
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Vicky puts it on
Yeah.
Amy's head. Do you feel any different?
I feel dirty, like wearing something this beautiful and this nice. I've probably never worn or had anything this expensive adorn my body before, and it's making me not feel bad, but just conscious of like that I'm like a grubby hunter.
Oh man! Oh, yeah.
But
Right. It is a very right. Like, do you have any kind of adornment at all, like an earring or?
I rolled up many piercings, but I've always assumed that those are like really rough, like studs or ringlets.
Right. If we have
of poor metal.
Right. So there is Taimi, like on the upper ear there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, a piece of like talk about like a piece of head jewelry. That's a whole other thing. And you sense no strange feelings, or you just feel the cold silver on your brow.
Yeah, it's cold, but no colder than I would expect.
How about these? And I take the earrings that are like have flames on them.
Yeah.
Can you try these?
I could. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I know that they're probably not supposed to hang from my cartilage at the top, but I put them in there anyway. Oh, they feel cumbersome.
Do you feel any different? Any warmer?
Nothing unusual.
And
no,
then,
I could not. These would.
Taimi, strike at me. Strike at me.
No, Paiviki, no.
Just to see. Perhaps your fist will be engulfed in flame.
Oh. If you insist. And she kind of rings back her fist and just gives Paiviki like a half-strength punch in the shoulder.
In the shoulder. Yeah. Ugh.
Okay.
Nothing unusual.
And there's the what is the box of sapphires or something?
There's a gold box set with sapphires.
Oh, set with sapphires.
Yeah, it's about this big. It's like maybe 2 cigar boxes put together in terms of volume, and it's got sapphires on it. It's actually quite simple. It's not like super ornate, but it's gold, which is highly unusual. And that's what the fabric was folded up inside that box.
Oh, yeah. The Paiviki says, Mirren, what about this fabric? And would you try this on?
Um, oh, I guess I'll take it. Is it like very light? Is it?
It's lightweight. Yep. It's very, when you look at it, is like, as opposed to the gold box, which is quite simple, it's incredibly finely embroidered with gold thread, and just like a myriad of shapes and patterns, like covering the whole thing. It's like really something to look at. And as you look at it, and maybe you guys have done this before in your journey, but you see what is clearly, there are abstract ornamentation that resembles flames that kind of merge into flowing water and back again. So there's this kind of overall motif of fire and water, kind of extraordinarily rendered in this golden thread. And the fabric itself is about, it's about 3 feet wide when you unroll it, and about 12 feet long.
Wow.
So as a article of clothing, it would be something that you kind of wrapped around yourself in some configuration, which you can't, you know, not knowing how to end in people dressed, you're not really sure, but it's definitely, it doesn't seem like it's a tablecloth or something like that. It seems like it's a wrap.
Viveki lights a candle
Uh-huh.
and pours a bowl of water.
So are we still at the, is this like the tailgate party at the wagon? Is this what's happening?
Yeah,
Is it,
I
okay.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a wooden bowl of, this is from Paiviki's home probably, just like a simple wooden bowl.
Yeah.
And you got a candle.
Yeah. And Mirren, do you does the candle look the same to you? Does the water feel the same?
Mirren, have you wrapped yourself in this cloth? Or are you just holding it?
Oh, I was just holding it.
Okay.
No.
And when you look at the candle, yeah, it seems it's nothing unusual. Same with the water.
I could try wrapping it around, imagining how a person would wear it.
Okay, so you're trying to picture, you're holding it in your arms, and you're like, well, how would you maybe? Can you just briefly summarize what you might do? You don't have to go through great detail, but like, and there's not like a right or wrong answer. I'm just curious about how Mirren would wrap this around herself.
Well, I think Mirren would try wrapping it like a over the shoulders, over 2 shoulders, and then around the waist.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, great. Yeah, so you over one, over the other, and then you tie it around the waist, and then maybe like tuck it in so that the whole thing kind of sits on you. Remind me of Mirren's alignment.
It is lawful.
Okay. So you do that, and you guys who are watching, Mirren finishes that and then tucks the sort of sash end into the thing, the sort of broad girdle that has been created by the thing. And there's a moment where the, you know, maybe it's the sun that is kind of risen at this point, but there's a moment where the gold thread shimmers from the point where Mirren pushes in the fabric. There's like a shimmer, like a wave of faint golden light passes across the whole thing, wherein you feel the hair on your arms and the back of your neck stand up. The sun to you all of a sudden demands your attention. I'm going to say it's sort of morning. The sun's kind of cutting through the fog, and off to the east, it's kind of risen. The lowlands to the east, the sun's kind of peeked into the sky there, and it's still kind of foggy, but you can see the sun perfectly, and you can look right at it without it, doing that thing where it kind of like burns into your eye. And you understand for a moment how the energy in the candle is the same as the energy in the sun, which I don't know if anybody in your world knows anything about the celestial bodies, but you, Maren, in this moment realize that it's the same energy. And also, so you have that realization, and you also have this, at the same moment, have the realization that the blood coursing through your body is the same as the water that flows in the rivers. So you have this, maybe you wouldn't go so far to say a revelation, but this like, these ideas just kind of briefly flood through you. And you're not sure exactly what that means in terms of the thing you're wearing, but there is some significant connection between fire and water and this garment.
And we see the light that kind of passes through it.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost like, as if the fabric had been folded and the sun caught it naturally, except that it wasn't. She was just standing there, and this kind of wave of light just passed across and then was gone. I should say also, Maren, that in all those sensations that you have, you also sense the presence of the divine. Some otherworldly, but I would say, I don't know if the elves have gods that they believe in, but this has you have a sense of being momentarily touched by that other world.
I think Maren tries to sort of describe what happened, but doesn't know exactly how to express it.
Great. Yeah, so,
well, yeah. If Paiviki's still holding out the water and the fire, I just sort of I'll just reach up and like touch the water and.
Okay. When you touch the water, the same golden light passes across its surface. And then
What was that?
It's
I thought I saw a flash. I thought it was a trick of the light, but that flash over the water, that was from no candle or fire.
Can I like taste the water?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I was just like, oh yeah, there's something different with this.
Yeah. So you raise it up. Do you take a little sip, or do you smell it? It looks normal. It smells normal. So do you just take a little sip, or do you drink?
I imagine I would try to drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you drink it, you have this feeling that you are drinking. If you recall the next to. Wait, how am I gonna? Sorry, I was trying to navigate the PDF unsuccessfully. Oh shoot, wasn't working. You have the sense that you're drinking. It's as if the river itself for a moment is passing into your body. So it's not just. It feels like not just a plain bowl of water, but like that you're drinking the kind of the lifeblood of the earth. But it's a sensation. Like you don't feel nothing changes in your body, but that's like a kind of that's like an impression that you get from it.
Just quickly, I'll try to pick up the candle flame to see if that.
Pick up the flame itself.
Yeah, can I like reach into the right below the wick and?
So you like pass your hand through the flame.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to see if I can hold it, but I guess.
So like here's and you just go. Do you go like that to see if you can sort of pick it up off the wick? You move your hand through it and nothing. But then you realize you didn't even feel the heat from it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you go again to try to pick it up, maybe a little slower, and you can't feel the heat at all from the candle. It stays. You don't manage to pick it up, but it doesn't appear to be
right
giving off heat. We were talking about what to do with the cloth.
Yeah.
And I think that it sounds like we want to hold on to it. There's something interesting going on here. But the other stuff in this list, I don't have any attachment to. I don't know whether this is above Taimi's skill set or knowledge, but I think that like if we're really looking to start almost a micronation with Ladevisi, having some sort of treasury, some sort of like things to kickstart trade and to make Rayuna and Ladevisi an economic character in the region, I think would be good. So that's what I'm in. Well, that's what Taimi is interested in kind of putting the loot towards, is the foundation of this kind of micronation.
Oh wow! Like splitting it between Rayuna and Ladevisi, or mainly investing in Ladevisi?
Well, I mean, I think that there should be a discussion about like, what is this new kind of union look like? Like, is this just kind of like super friends, and Rayuna is going to like, do their thing and watch out for Ladevisi and vice versa? Or like, are they going to share responsibilities for kind of like guarding the route into these lands? Are they going to like strengthen their trade stuff? There might need to be some sort of like centralized, I don't know, there might need to be some funds to help make some of that stuff happen. But again, I think that's kind of like city planning, governmental stuff that like Taimi probably doesn't actually have like a mind for. I think in Taimi terms, it would be like, we don't need these beautiful things. They do me no good, like on the hunt,
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
This cloth is both beautiful and looks to be of use. And Taimi is cautiously interested because her experiences with magic have been so poor. And this, from what she can observe, is making Muirin not get burned, which is a nice thing to have happen. Because I mean, even Paiviki's magic, I'm trying to think, is there like a non-combat kind of violent way that you've used magic?
Non-combat but violent?
No, non-combat, non-violent.
Non-combat
I mean, you've used it to like remove the bolts from bows. That's not necessarily, that's non-violent, I suppose, right. But like it's in the context of combat.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, mostly out of desperation, but also to look around and move things, like move the flames around. But that cloth is certainly curious.
Yeah.
Paiviki grabs the coin that has flames on one side and water on the other side.
Yeah.
And holds it up and flips it in the air. and sees if she can feel anything different with that and the water and the fire that are like the candle in the bowl.
Mm-hmm. Bing. Nothing that you can perceive.
She
What
hands.
if?
Go ahead.
Oh, what if the hand it to Muirin? What if like the circlet, the earrings? What if it's part of like a set? You
Yeah,
have to put it all on to get the set bonus.
Here, stash this in your belt or in your sash.
So the coin and the circlet and the earrings. Does Mirren put them on? Yeah, look at that. Okay. Well, I must say that where Taimi may have felt awkward and out of place, and maybe Mirren does too, but Mirren does cut quite a striking figure in this full regalia here. Totally transformed. And I think, Mirren, when you don these items, I think relative to what you feel from the cloth, they feel like simple material things. None of them, they're pretty to look at, but none of them can sort of compare to this kind of awareness that the cloth is giving you. So yeah, they don't seem. I mean, it's a nice set aesthetically, but
So the coin, can I just like examine it and I'll just look at both sides and I'll sort of ponder what I learned about fire and water being everywhere, and then part of the body, and then
yeah. Are you actually trying to find some answers, or are you just kind of like musing on these thoughts?
I was just musing, but you know, if maybe there are answers, maybe I am looking for answers.
Well, it's up to you. I was just wondering if that was the goal.
I think it would be good to find answers.
Okay.
Now that I think about it.
So you're kind of turning over the thought of this, of your relationship to fire and water and how it's in the world. So go ahead and do it. I think this is finding answers with wisdom.
Oh, great.
Because you're saying the way you just described is a kind of like a feeling. You were sort of feeling the yeah. So that's 2d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
Ooh, okay, just 7.
7. The judge's answer is cryptic or incomplete, but they'll tell you how to learn more. I think the way that these thoughts that you just described, the feeling you have is that there's more to be learned, and the way to learn it is to wear this garb and pay attention to the world as you do so. Knowing also that it has a very a direct connection to the Enin people.
How do you spell that, Jason?
E-N-N-E-N.
E-N-N-E-E-N-N.
E-N-N-E-N.
Okay, got it.
E-N-N-E-N. And then, yeah.
It seems like they held the fire and the water in some strong significance, like two sides of the same thing.
Yeah,
I think there's like some kids whispering in the bushes and kind of like, like watching you guys do all this.
Thanks.
Of course.
Especially now that Muirin's all fancy.
Yeah. Probably the fanciest humanoid we've ever seen.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly, yeah. There's no fabric like this in these parts.
Do we have like I wouldn't imagine that the Rayunans would have like fairy tales. We wouldn't talk about like princesses or nobility or stuff like that. Like in some ways we just must not have like any cultural context for like someone
right, for the
someone dressed up that fancy.
Right. That's a really good point. You're right. Yeah, stories might have come from the Korkian or something like that, but like certainly not in your culture. You're absolutely right. I think that makes a lot of sense. There's no like nobility
Yeah.
among your people.
There's probably some sort of a village transaction for things that have specialness to them that nobody has any particular use for otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are nicer things for sure. Like the weaver makes nice stuff, and on certain occasions, people might wear something a little different.
Yeah,
as
but like a circlet? No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe what we can do is take these things and if we want to bank them in that way, like offer them to the village of Rayuna and La Devesi, to like you were saying, as a kind of like a bank or something, like a public trust of some kind that could be used if they're needed or something.
Mm.
So
Or-
an investment in the joint alliance of Rayuna and La Devesi.
Yeah, and distributed if they're, if people in some way, if people need them, or the furs and
Yeah, if there's some huge, yeah, exactly. The furs could be used for some sort of structure or garment if needed.
or as
the treasure can be used as a bribe, or who knows.
big goods or something. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would say-
merchants do come to the market here.
Yeah.
And so there is opportunity for trade and things like that.
So maybe we could stash those things and keep the cloth and call that good. What do you guys think?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
So stash everything on that list except for the cloth.
Yeah.
All right. Let me figure that out.
I mean, it takes a lot to get a stash point, so we'll see.
Oh, how much is it?
100 silver.
100 silver for one stash point, which is like an XP.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you split it 3 ways between the 3 of you.
Right.
Yeah. So for every 300 SP we get, we'll each get.
Yeah, let's get next page. All right, I'll read off the amounts here. John, why don't you record this?
Yeah.
Okay, the what do we got? The silver water coin. So you've maybe Aseri and Tini are called together. Aseri being the leader of La Devesi and Tini being the elder of Rayuna. And there's an exchange where you sort of express your wishes for these 2 villages together, and the desire to invest in their future. The silver fire water coin. So you're saying goodbye to all these things.
Yeah.
You can actually kind of get them back, but they cash out back at half value.
Sure.
The silver water coin is worth 1 silver piece.
Uh-huh.
The furs.
What about the copper miniature?
Is that the one that you guys lost? Oh
Oh,
no,
yeah.
copper miniature. Copper miniature is worth 8 silver pieces.
Yeah.
The furs are worth 10 silver pieces each. So what is that? 120.
Yep.
The carnelian, the small red gemstone, is worth 5 silver pieces.
Flawed.
The small green peridot is worth 10 silver pieces. The chunk of jade is worth 60 silver pieces. The 2 large garnets are worth 135 each. Those ones are each about like an inch in diameter. The flawless fist-sized aquamarine. Oh my God, is that a beautiful, beautiful thing to look at and hold up to the light? Is worth 235 silver pieces. The circlet is worth 8 silver pieces. The earrings shaped like flames are of slightly finer craftsmanship and are worth 16 silver pieces together.
Wow. Wow.
Are you unloading the golden box set with sapphires? Just clarifying, that's the last item on the list.
I was thinking yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
This gold box set with sapphires is worth 655 silver pieces.
Whoa. 665.
655
5. All right.
for a grand total of
1388.
1388.
Yeah. So that's
Divided by-
four. That's 4 XP each with 188. Do we get that SP, or is that just lost to the wind?
It's lost to the wind. Well, I mean, one of you gets an XP. One of you gets an XP.
Oh, that's true.
Right,
Yeah.
there's 100 left over there. It doesn't divide evenly into 3, but you guys together can decide who gets that point.
Yeah.
So let's all each cash in our 4 XP.
All right. So we get 4 XP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
It's not so bad.
Where does it put you?
It puts me at 82.
I'm 8 away from getting to level 6.
I'm so surprised that you're so. Wait, no. Oh, behind 6. Oh, wow. You're really high up there. Yeah, I have a while to go to 6.
Okay. Well, what about you?
I'm at 87, so maybe.
And I have. Oh, go ahead.
What were you going to say, Donna?
Oh, I just said I have 87, so Taimi can have the XP if she's ready.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a note here that the total needed for level 6 is 105, and then 140, and then 180, and then 225, and then 275, and then that's it.
Because you added up all the little dots.
Yeah.
I would maybe I added wrong, but I was thinking that level 6 would be 100 even.
They increase in groups of 5s.
Oh yeah, no, I added wrong, I think. Oh,
And then there's I think the thing that's not on here is there's 5 XP to get to level 1 technically.
oh yeah. Yeah, I'm just
Right.
counting once we're at level 1. Yep. So starting at level 1, maybe not counting those first 5, Paiviki's at 92.
Nice.
Yeah, do you want to take that XP, Taimi?
I will. I gosh, I'm trailing.
What are you at? 80?
83 now.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That was a good stash.
It
Yeah.
was.
That was the first
Yeah.
time you guys have done that.
No, it's not.
Oh, you did it before?
Yeah, we did it in Salt Volin.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
We stashed the stuff that we got from the word keepers, all the stuff that we didn't want to bring with us.
Oh, yeah. Right.
We basically, I don't even think, I think we got 4 XP off of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Total, like between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So Tinny and Asari have actually been talking when you guys sort of make this proposal to them, and they are you're all on the same page. They're in complete agreement that this is everything points this way, and they don't want what has happened to happen again. And it's a difficult decision for Tinny. Asari is like hardcore bent against the Corkine, but Tinny has been trying to kind of like maintain a peace and avoid tension and any kind of little eruptions and frictions that have occurred in the village. Tinny has been the peacekeeper, so it's like a hard thing, but it's clear to her that this is a thing that has to happen, and that you are the people to you're the tip of the spear. You are the people to help make it happen. So they're both on board with that.
Did we tell them all about our adventures in Saltwall too? I think we did at the party yesterday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, as much as you were able to relate in that time frame. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we also give them give Tinny the conch shell, the sort of like ceremonial horn of the Saltwallians, and tell them that we brought them the tree from Rayuna, and that it is possible that if we needed their help, we would be able to go to Saltwall to ask for some aid. But also, it's not just our own 2 towns, but a third. It's significant that it's another part of the land that has pushed off the Corkine.
There are allies to the south.
Yeah.
Should we need them? Great.
And it sounded like we had some tentative allies in the elves as well. I can't remember the name of that town. That little hamlet. Isn't that right, Donna?
That was Arlandweir.
Arlandweir.
Yeah, we really didn't spend a ton of time there. And then what was the is Mid-Yarv?
Mid-Yarvi is the swamp town where you guys,
swamp town.
Yeah. Where you rescued, or you picked up that one goat rider who he was left behind. And you kind of made a good connection with the guy who's ostensibly in charge of Mid-Yarvi. That was definitely a positive relationship that you established there. A network of partisan fighters.
Where is the capital in relation to
the capital is, as far as you know, up in this area. Pukunut is like maybe here.
Yeah.
And as far as you know, the hand is going this way, but you don't know where he is.
Okay.
I think it's time we talk about the hand.
Yes.
What are some initial thoughts that people have had?
Well, is our goal to defeat the hand, or is it to kill them? I think the ultimate goal is to push the Corkine back so that they don't come after us, and I don't know how to best make that happen?
I'm interested in the information that this bozo could have. But the real twist is kind of that the news that he has this power of speech. So Taimi's worried that there's no way that we could get him in a position to pump him for information where we're not in danger. Because if speech is what his power is, if that's where his cruel magic comes from, is there a way, and I guess Taimi would ask this of Paiviki, is there a way, whatever you are connected to, whatever strings you pull to have things happen, can they be severed?
I don't know.
Because, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because if they can't be severed, then I don't know if there's a way that we could get information from him. If the rumors are true and his words can force the unwilling to do what they want, then after the first question, he'll just say, "Let me go."
Yeah. I would wonder, Mirren, if there is a way to create a concoction of some sort that would muddy his mind, where he would tell us what we wanted to. We wanted him to tell us. Have you ever heard of such a thing or made such a brew?
Certainly there's potions of like confusion that just turn a single-minded person into something less threatening.
Maybe that's our solution, or a strategy we could employ.
Yes, to try to disarm the evil intention that this person might have.
Or, yeah, if his mind was muddied enough that he couldn't use it against us, but was feeling, maybe we just get him drunk.
It sounds like this guy is committed. He's a company man.
Is it possible to like secure his mouth too, so that he cannot speak?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's obvious. An option is obviously to like just have Paiviki pour like spooky mist down his mouth, and then we like beat him up, gag him, and then interrogate him using a series of yes and no questions, or let runes on a log or something, some way. But it would be possible. It would just be very tedious and long. But if that's the only like surefire way. But I like the idea of some sort of like, to use a modern parlance, like truth serum.
Yeah. What would you want to know from this person?
Great question.
What are the Corkeen's plans for this region? What are they after? What are their plans for Salt Vallon? What do they have at their disposal? We're sitting here making up bedtime stories about a guy who can talk people into doing anything. Like, I think it would be important and valuable for us to know if they've got a guy that like has dragon arms,
True. Of all the things to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, like the royal elite guard who are up after the hand might just be like 15-foot tall blue guys, you know, like.
I've just been thinking, you're right. I have just been thinking about how to uh, uh, sort of raise the status of Rayuna in the Korkeen's mind to the point where they don't feel capable of threatening it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had thought long ago, many months ago, about crafting a story of a plague that has infected the town, so we didn't have to fight them outright.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if we can win.
No. But, you know, I just think that, like, they're playing a long game. And, like, eventually a story is not going to cover it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, like, does this plague extend to Salt Fallen? You know, because if they get overrun, and who knows where they're at these days, but, like, yeah, I see in my figurative crystal ball that, like, if we just kind of, like, close our borders and, like, say, like, okay, like, we're no good, we've got spoiled apples here, that'll work on the short term, but all it takes is, like, one trader, you know, to bring news, or a traveler, or yeah.
I think that we fight this battle now, and then when we get more significant allies on our side, maybe that's our next quest, is to find others that can help us.
No, I 100% agree. Like, I know that this dotted line is the main road, but, like, what other villages are in this area that can become part of our new, like, micronation?
The next one to the east is Sukunut.
Yeah, is that the next play? I mean, they have already independenced themselves from the Rayunans, or from the Korkeen. Like, is there a way that, you know, we join with them, or, you know, they extend that immunity to us? Do we form, you know, a larger micronation with Sakut as the seat of this, like, Kolkeen free area? But there's nothing. Didn't Weirin come from the north? Is there anything to the north?
There's to the direct north of you is mostly mountains. To the northeast, there are some coastal villages.
Yeah.
As far as you know, looking kind of, let me see if I can. Yeah, so, this one doesn't have Ledevisi on it for some reason. It's not my updated map. Ledevisi's over here. Hakuna is somewhere in here. And up to the far north, you know that there are a couple of villages up that way, but you don't know much about them. I guess you've heard words through the market about these villages up to the north. There's nothing in here. Over this way is
that a rumor, or is that confirmed?
That there's nothing in here?
Yeah, is that just...
No one thinks anybody lives there, but people think that this is wilderness.
Okay.
But we know that there's a gigantic river god, and at least a ferocious band of white-skinned pikas.
Oh, the cave creatures, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
living in there. So who knows?
Yeah. God, there's so much stuff. We also never investigated those giant footprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were over here.
Something tooth, I remember.
There's the Misty Tooth. Way back in the beginning, there were stories of the Misty Tooth, and you guys had a little map. There was a map.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's also, like, there's like that other
haunted head.
race of the race of people.
Yep.
that Salt Vollen deals with sometimes.
They're off to the west here where I was.
Yeah, there's plenty of folks. But why don't we think about the hand for now? There's definitely more that we could.
Yeah, but I just want to say I'm on the same page as you, Jan, that I think that like kind of firming up our alliance with more people, you know, we're kind of like the poster childs for that.
Yeah.
That to me is an attractive step, but what do you think, Donna?
I definitely agree. Would think that keeping Corkian out means forming as many allies as possible.
I keep thinking of some strange ally, like if we could get the beast on our side, or the River King. that would do something.
Yeah, imagine if you had the River King on your side. That would be something.
Yeah.
Maybe with this piece of cloth from the end, we can learn to speak to the River King.
Yeah, I mean, we never did anything bad to him.
No, we didn't rob him.
That's true. You didn't rob him.
We killed his doorway spider. His best friend, doorway spider.
Yeah, there was that.
Hopefully he doesn't know who did that.
He hated that spider. That was his least favorite spider.
Too bad I autograph all my arrows. I mean, I still think that there's like potential. Remember when we got to the very bottom, there was like there was more, that dungeon just kept going,
Yeah.
but Topias was doing so poorly. So yeah, so we're all in agreement there. So, but let's switch to the hand. And we don't know what sort of company he's in, or they are in.
Correct.
We don't know whether they are with like 5 word keepers or like 1 horse.
I think we need to have a scouting party that we can do some observations and learn who they are before they get to us, and then have them hustle back so we can properly prepare.
I mean, I would do you one better and say that like we should basically have an advanced scout team, us, and then have a bunch of our Ledevisi friends and Reunans prepare an ambush on that main road. And then we can come back and they will have already started and prepared, and we can basically like tweak the plan a little bit from that point.
Yeah. Yes.
I trust us.
Let's go.
All right. So the plan is the word is passed to Aseri, and I guess Topias has probably gone about recruiting able-bodied Reunans. And Annika and Topias can head up the ambush. And Aseri. Oh my God, and Varpu, but Varpu.
Varpu's gonna screw up our ambush.
So you sell the plan of you guys being in a recon team, and so everybody else has to stay behind, right?
Yeah.
Or I think we're all going to move out as a big group, find a defensible location, and then be like, okay, you guys, like make your boulder trap or whatever we're going to do for an ambush, and then we're going to like, we're going to all, anime ninja run to.
Okay. So you set out that way, I guess.
I would like full rations, please. I have no rations.
Oh, well, the town can totally hook you up with that. I mean, you guys are going to have food prepared for you.
Wow. No more of that underground lobster meat.
Oh, I think that was pretty tasty.
I know it was delicious, but gets old after a few days.
How many would you say we should each carry?
I'm just taking. Isn't a full load of rations 5 for one weight, or is it 7 for one weight?
It's a week's worth. It's 7.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a week's worth.
Yeah. And we could bring the cart if we wanted to. I was wondering if we wanted to bring like have people bring like extra supplies like some tools if we wanted to build anything or dig any holes or
The ambush team could totally bring. We can just say they bring whatever might be useful, for
Yeah.
sure. And then you guys, for your squad, you've got enough adventuring gear in that wagon to have some flexibility in terms of what you pull out of your pockets.
yeah. I want to look through those books if there's any way to glean any information from them before we head out. But I don't know if there's time to make any significant headway. And I wonder if Mirren, if you want to prepare anything that would be useful for our
Yeah.
reconnaissance or our ambush.
Yeah, I would say if you think I could attempt, because I think it takes 2 sessions to fully make any kind of potion, right?
It's a project that you could try to establish that whatever it is you're trying to make can be done very quickly. But normally, the last time you did it, when you made, was it the forgetting powder?
Yeah.
Which had a good name. I can't remember right now. That was like a project you did during downtime in the village. So you right now don't have the time to make either of the concoctions you've made before, but this new confusion potion that you're talking about, maybe you could establish that you can actually do that pretty quickly.
As like 2d6?
Yeah, so you could first you make your proposal like, well, this confusion thing, first I need these ingredients and I prepare it this way and it's fast because of why. So you sort of tell your story about how that you think that's going to work, and then we'll roll the dice to see how accurate it is.
Well, I guess I can admit to making something like this many times in the past.
Okay.
So I know I could basically make it, with my eyes closed, and the ingredients, it's this version is also using the common beet crop that we have around,
Barley. Or there's plenty of, there's tons of the common, so the main grain here is barley grown along the river, but there's like all kinds of, garden vegetables, root vegetables, nightshades.
Oh wait, what's the there's like a alcohol?
That's derived from a beet, yeah.
Beet, yeah.
A sugar beet.
It could be, just using that or the alcohol from that ingredient.
That's the stuff that's already all distilled, like the hard alcohol that you.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just making it.
I guess it must have some kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll mix it with some kind of uh, yeah, some kind of like other natural animal
An,
thing.
an animal thing, like what's an animal that makes you think of confusion? Maybe it's one of these frog-faced deer. That's why, 'cause they're just confusing to look at. Those
I think
frog-faced.
we weren't allowed to mess with them. For
Oh
some
yeah,
reason.
don't mess with those. Okay, well, yeah, those are off limits. So you need red cap is your primary ingredient, but then
Yeah.
you need some kind of animal ingredient, which
Yeah.
is
There is some kind of poison frog thingy.
a poison frog that dwells in like one of these hilly, in one of these mountain pools.
What about a toad? You know, they always have little poison sacs,
Mhm.
like a land toad.
So maybe
Good
some
find.
Okay.
making sure, like, yeah, that there's that around.
Okay, so you need to get the toad, extract its poison sac, mix it with the red cap. Is it that easy? Is the issue that it's just it's just like rarefied knowledge that only people like you know?
Yeah, I would say that if with the balance, yeah, like you have to get it to a certain mixture, otherwise it's just not effective at all.
Okay, so that it just has to be in the right proportions.
Okay.
Okay.
Toad venom would like make you vomit if you ate too much of it or something too.
All right. Right, like to get rid of, and you want just enough in the system to make the person addled and confused without vomiting it back up. Okay, great. And it's just those two things together. Awesome. And you could probably send some kids out from the village to gather up those toads because you're saying they're available around here. That's part of what you're establishing. Okay, great. That is established with intelligence.
Ooh, just a 9.
Do you have an intelligence modifier?
No.
Okay. So on a 9, you were right, but there's a caveat or complication of the judge's choosing. If you spend a point of luck, you can turn that into a 10.
Yeah, spend the luck.
Okay.
Luck is now 9.
All right. It is just as you say.
And then I make 1 dose of that.
Okay, so you guys are everybody's loading up. The villagers are strapping their tools on their backs, and everybody's turned out to like help get you guys going on your way. And we're in, and the kids, 2 kids, a boy and a girl, kind of run up the hill from the north, because you sent them out, very, very early in the morning, and they come back and they've got a wicker basket with 2 toads in it. And Sinelma, the master brewer, has given you a bottle of red cap, and I believe because of poison is your area of expertise and you have the poisoner ability, you always succeed at making the poison, right? Isn't that what you're
Yes.
like the poison master? Great. So you have a dose of this. We're gonna have to come up with a good name for this. Toad fuzz, toad brain, red beet brain or something. What are you carrying it in?
Just small vial.
A vial, like a clay vial,
Yeah.
like some kind of ceramic vial. Okay.
Right.
Great. So you stir those things up, and seal it with wax or a cork.
I think a cork is okay.
Okay.
We use.
All right. So you've got that, and you stick it in your wherever you keep those things, your pouch, or your belt, or whatever. Great.
Do you have to drink it, or is it injectable? Can you stick them with it?
Like a dart type?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to include that as part of the establishment, but that's like step 2. Yeah, how does somebody get affected by this?
Well, I guess we said if it doesn't work, it makes you sick. So you probably have to like swallow some.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned Paiviki wanted to maybe give those books a look.
Yes.
The books which had been kept in Weirin's. Right. And I think long ago I put together a Google Doc that had those books in it.
That's the trick. Yeah, I see a note here that says 3 in strange language.
Items of note. Books found in the cave of the beast. Yes, there are 3 in a strange language. 4 in a strange language.
Whoa.
Are they not strange any more than we know Venati?
oh, maybe they aren't actually. Let's see here.
Or Muirin does.
Oh no, it's right. Yeah, you do know about the one that's written in Venati. Let's see here. Here's the list. Oh, there we go. The powder is called Dermatic. And Isilmat's Bane was the poison that you gave to Isilmat. And Lockfinger is the poison that causes paralysis.
Oh.
So the books found in the Cave of the Beasts, written in the common tongue, Rockworms of the Highlands, Phantoms and Warriors, The Fall of Vanat, Songs of Darkness, The 5 Apertures of Understanding, Stone Carving, Silversmithing, a Blue Leather Journal, which you read. The Island of Understanding was written in Old Venati, and 4 books written in the wizard's tongue. And I think, wait, Jan, I don't know if you didn't learn the wizard's tongue, did you? Because you guys, your focus with Locke was about it wasn't about written language, right? It was like memory and.
That's true. Yeah, connection with the forces of the world. I think that we were talking about visualizing the magical runes as like a connection to the forces of nature. So,
Oh, right, yeah.
whether that would translate into something that was actually readable in any kind of fast, intelligible way, I don't know about that. I think he's clever, but yeah, it wasn't like a sit down study kind of a.
I think it would be a role, right? Like you don't actually know wizard's tongue intellectually, but I think given what you just described, you could look at these books and try to like draw upon, to try to make sense of the runes like as
Okay.
almost like a feat of perception as opposed to one of interpretation.
Okay.
Sorry, just looking at my notes, finding these. Oh, the books were in the.
Donna, do you have any of those poisons or the potions or whatever made up? The Lockfinger or the other kind?
I think that they don't last very long.
Well, there was one that doesn't last long, but I think that was only something that was established for one of them, right?
Yeah, Lockfinger doesn't last long, but Isomat's Bane doesn't have the same duration.
I actually don't think I have any more of that because we used it with the that first word keeper at Saltwall,
Oh,
right? Didn't you? I think
yeah,
you drank it or something.
right. We haven't had a good chance to sit down and work on our projects because it'd be good to have like a whole library of possible concoctions to pull out.
Yeah, and I don't think I even have a lock finger. Did I use it?
All right. So before you leave, Paivik, you can try to figure out. Well, there's several books. Yeah, there's actually not 4. There's 3, which appear to be written in Rizzer's tongue. And then there's also what was clearly the sorcerer's spell book,
Oh,
which is written in the same tongue. So you have time to examine one of the books or the spell book, I guess. See what you can find.
oh. I think I'm curious about the spell book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to find answers. And what do you think? Are you using intelligence or wisdom?
I would err on the side of intelligence.
Okay.
Being an intelligent type and not very wise. I mean, I think that she's going to try her best to interpret the runes and, you know, using her knowledge that she gained, try to do some, what do you call when you decipher in a language, like hieroglyphics or whatever, and try to understand the meaning of these writings.
Okay. And I just am curious about Paiviki's personal feelings about, after all this long journey and these books being hidden away and now recovering them and thinking about what they might contain. Is Paiviki like, is this like a pragmatic thing? Like maybe there's something in here that'll be useful for this mission we're going on. Is Paiviki excited about learning more magic? How's she feeling about this?
I think she's conflicted and she's feeling all those things. She's thinking, if I can just find something that'll really be useful. But then at the same time, she's feeling really giddy and kind of excited to learn some more magic. And then she's also feeling rather trepidatious and somewhat terrified by what might be hiding inside of that crazy man's magic book.
Okay, great. Thanks. Make the roll.
She rolled a 5 + 2.
That is a 7.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can tell you what Paiviki is able to discern by poring over these runes. Is that because of the way the book, you know, you're flipping back and forth, you're comparing shapes to other shapes. You figure out that there is probably 4 or 5 different spells contained in this book. You're able to figure out that much. You're able to, most surprising to you is like in your effort to like make sense of these runes, the first ones that you were made sense of are the ones that together form the word demon, which you know, sends a little chill down your spine, and you recall that circle in the room, in the sorcerer's room. And so it's going to take more study to learn more, but you know that there is magic related to demons in this book. The simplest one that you find is actually you're able to identify the title of this spell. You can't identify the name of it's a spell that was created by some wizard in the past. So the wizard's name is part of the title of this spell, but you can't decipher the wizard's name. But the part you can decipher, because the runes are pretty simple, is Lock of Mud.
Oh, I remember that.
You do?
Yeah, that happened to you. That happened to Paiviki.
Oh, right, it did.
When
it did.
Paiviki was like on top of her,
It did.
he like grabbed you and it like turned to mud and he
Yeah.
stuck you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the moment. Maybe that's the thing that sets. You're like, wait, yes, that's. I think that's the word for mud, or it's mud plus dirt plus water.
This happened to me.
It happened to you. So yeah, you and that's the one. And it's going to take some study to actually learn that spell, but you know that spell at least is in there, and you feel like it's probably less dangerous than these demon-related ones, and it's probably one that you could learn.
So there's 2 demon-related spells?
Yeah.
Like?
There's 2 demon-related spells. One where part of the title is Lock of Mud, and then another one that had too many complicated words for you to figure out. In fact, you got a little. Whereas the demon runes made you feel a little like don't want to go there, this other one almost made you confused. Like trying to decipher the runes. There's a moment where Taimi had to like hit you and say, "Hey, we got to go," because you got so caught up in trying to decipher the runes to that first one.
Whoa. Okay. Watch out for that one. All right.
All right, scout team away.
Yeah.
All right, so the whole gang, the whole army sets out. Yeah. Go.
No, we wanted to at least have a couple people here. I think just to keep an eye on things. Unless, yeah. I mean, I assume all the Ledevisi people will come with us, but maybe we'll leave a couple of Rayunians here to just, watch the prisoners and
Yeah, for sure.
Watch the southern border.
We don't know. We know that at least we think we know that the hand is coming, but it's always possible that there could be folks coming from a different direction.
Okay, so you're going to leave a security detail in Leona, basically?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how many, just given the resource, so at this point, I think between Rayuna and Ledevisi, you have, I think you have 40 people.
Wow.
So if you say you leave, how many do you want to leave on security? Like 8, 10, 6?
I would say you said 50,
You have 40 people.
40. I think
Yeah.
we'd leave 10.
Okay. So 30 will be accompanying you on this kind of ambush setup. And along with them are Aseri, Varpu, and Aseri, and the, well, these people no longer have a specific leader, but they're in it. Varpu's old gang are accepting Arno, who doesn't really have the who's missing, he has he's missing part of his leg, so he can't really come with you. Okay, so you guys set out to the east. And we can reveal a little bit more of the map.
Oh my gosh.
Just a little bit. So where would you? So the issue with this road is that until it gets to Hakunu, it's relatively level ground. There's no like handy canyons or other. It's like rolling. Essentially, it's like rolling rocky grassland. So there's not any really. There's not a lot of trees to hide in. There's certainly kind of, as the land kind of rolls and dips, there's areas where people could be out of sight, but not the kind of thing where, not the kind of place where you could push a boulder onto somebody or create that kind of ambush. So given that landscape, what would you tell your gang to do?
I mean, I think we just have to find the highest rise that we can, between here and the horizon.
So they'll have just to be able to see the approach kind of thing?
No, just so that they could be out of sight.
Okay. A high
the point
rise
that I'm worried about is the springing up part, So whatever the biggest rise is there any sort of vegetation, shrubs or bushes, tall grasses?
Yeah. There's low brush.
Okay.
It's not the kind of thing, so people would be able to be, I think in this stretch of road, you can find a place where the land is a little rolling and there's low cover. So people could, it'd be the kind of thing where people would be lying on the ground and in little nooks, right? To get down as low as possible. And then they could kind of spring up into action.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the best we're going to get.
I would wonder about, if they're coming up the road up to a rise and we're going to spring up people in front of them, if along the way on the rise, if we want to do something more elaborate, like dig a hole under a bush and actually build a little hidey spot for a few people, so that when they walk past, we could have those people spring up from behind them and catch them from unawares. But that gets pretty tricky.
Well, I mean, they have a lot of tools with them, and there are 30 people.
Yeah.
So
I was imagining if Taimi could come back and hide in a hole, so that when they're facing off, then we would have an expert archer popping out from behind or something like that.
And are you picturing sort of hiding ambushers on both sides of the road, and then this sort of back pocket that would pop up so that they get to a certain point and it'd be like it could be completely encircled, I guess.
Sort of, yeah. That's just a thought. What do you think? Does Mirren have any other sneaky ideas?
I think, yeah, high and low are both good. Yeah, trying to flank on both ends of the jump are good. I think we're at an advantage, so trying to just, if I don't necessarily think of any other weaknesses other than not spreading out enough or not being sneaky enough with the hole digging.
Maybe instead of digging a hole, we could have folks working on making like camouflage.
Yeah, like bush cover
or something, like something woven out of reeds that you can stick branches into.
Yeah.
And make like a thing to really hunker down inside the bushes and then pop out of.
Yeah, so that's totally doable. We don't have to get into the specifics, but like a camouflage kind of situation.
Yeah.
They're using the landscape to, so just a combination of low cover, actually attaching bushes to their garb, and in a kind of like a sort of rectangular shape with the road running down the middle of it.
Yeah.
Essentially, does that make sense? Okay. So you set them all to work. Asari will oversee that that situation. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that plan?
I think that we would probably have some sort of signal set up so that if we, are like hustling back and we have some kind of a flag to wave or whatever, that they would all get ready.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll assume that there's like a system of signals in place where you can tell them what to do, let them know ahead of time what's happening. And then the three of you set out together. Gosh, who else? Oh, Anika and Topias are there too with that gang.
Is Varpu not going to come?
Varpu is with the ambush squad and understands that, well, recon is not her strong suit. She's just hoping that if she lies in these bushes for a while, she'll get to kill a word keeper. That's what Varpu's hoping for right now.
Okay, roger that.
Yeah. She's not going to push. She's not going to want to be right up there in the front with you. She understands that you're bringing them into this trap. So
yeah.
Or you're letting everybody know that they're going to come into this trap. Okay. And it is, I think by the time you leave that gang, it's midday. And you set out to the east. And Taimi, being the hunter, can you just give me a rough plan for what your kind of scouting looks like? Like, what's the strategy of your scouting as you head down the road?
I think that we're off the trail, and I think that you said that to the north is coastal.
Far to the north, yeah. Immediately north of your position, it's hills going into mountains.
Yeah. Well, can you tell me which direction the wind blows in this region?
Yeah, it blows towards Reuna.
Okay. I think that
basically along the road towards Rayuna. So against you right now.
yeah. I think that we would be north of the trail.
Okay.
You know, pretty far off, and just trying to like, you know, slowly make our way, just keeping our eyes on the horizon. And I think, and we'll just keep it that way until we see them on the trail, and then we'll probably go into a more like crouch, sneaking, camouflage sort of mode.
Okay.
And I guess the reason that we would go north is that if I'm envisioning where I think it's like we're basically cutting a big corner if we are north of the trail.
The trail does kind of go up a little, but it's roughly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not this extreme, but it's kind of bold.
Got it.
Down. So yeah, we can cut across that way.
Yeah, to try to shorten that distance if possible.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, after, let's say you're out from midday, I think it's mid-afternoon. It's actually a couple of hours of moving across this rolling rocky landscape. When Taimi, so at this distance, you know, you can occasionally catch glimpses of the road just by the way that it breaks the landscape. And about 2 hours out, you see shapes in the far distance, which seem to indicate travelers. And at that point, you do what you know, you sort of take cover and wait. And as these shapes grow larger, it's clear that there are people on foot. There is a wagon near the head of the procession. It is and the sunlight shines off of the white fabric that covers this wagon. So it's a covered wagon, but not like a Pioneer Days covered wagon. It's covered by basically like a triangular tent-like thing. So picture a classic Pioneer covered wagon, except instead of that horseshoe shape, it's like a upside down V shape, right?
Okay.
So pretty simple canopy. So you guys are all laying low, peering through the brush, and you hear the murmur of voices. You see, at a certain point, you identify.
Taimi reflexively puts her hands over her ears.
Four ward keepers, the kind that you hear the clink of their armor and them sort of talking to each other. Behind them are two different figures carrying shields. Behind them are the wagon, and the wagon is followed by two more figures carrying shields, and then four more ward keepers. So it's a total of 8 ward keepers and 4 of these people with shields. And then, much to your surprise, behind that, you see a procession of 4 more wagons. And the people manning those wagons, these are all being hauled by the same beasts, kind of beast that you guys now own. Those 4 wagons appear to be manned, and so there's people in them driving them, and then there's people on foot walking alongside them, and that seems more like a rabble, like it's not an orderly procession like the soldiers. It is, it looks like common folk who are coming along, and the wagons are laden with something. You can tell by the way the wheels are moving that they're pretty heavily laden, and then covered with canvas tarps, so you can't see what the cargo is. And before we break for the night, because it's coming up on the half hour, I will show you what these guys with the shields look like. So there's our friends.
We can't see anything.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I'm just looking at your Google Doc.
This whole time I've been shifting around, you guys. That's annoying. I was showing you the map and all this other stuff.
Oh.
So there's 4 of these dudes. I'm sorry, there's 8 of these guys total. You're very familiar with them. And then there's 4 of these guys.
Oh. Oh.
4 wagons too.
So there's one wagon in the front of the procession with the white tent on it, and you can only assume that the hand is inside that wagon. And then behind the whole armed contingent are 4 more wagons being driven and handled by what look like common folk.
Man, maybe we need to consider a night raid or something.
Mm-hmm.
But with the people, that's dangerous. I wouldn't want to get people caught into this. Oof, this is going to be a rough team.
One of us dresses up as a wandering traveler. And does that wagon in the front have like any significant markings or look fancier than the other wagons?
Yeah, it's nice. It's a nicer wagon. I'm trying to think of what would be significant about it. The tent sets it apart. The wheels are larger. It appears to have some kind of spring for suspension, so it seems to be an easier, smoother ride, perhaps. No like decorations or anything though. Relatively austere. Yeah, so I was supposed to, is that it?
Oh, up. I think you passed it.
There, that's a little. So you guys didn't see this before?
No.
When I had this? Oh, sorry. So I was talking about the landscape and stuff, and I was looking at this, and you're just like, Anyway, it's this stretch of road right here.
You painted a beautiful picture with words, Jason.
Yeah, so at this point, you're basically at the extent of this fog of war, and your ambush is like back here, and you guys are like here.
Oh, this is going to be harder than I thought.
Yeah.
So you hear the creaking of the wagons, and the clank of metal, and the footsteps, and the in time he says, "This is going to be harder than I thought."
What if we all blocked our ears with beeswax so that we couldn't hear anything?
There's a strategy.
Yeah, I think with even like 30 people, the whole our like strategy as of up till now to like kind of just pop up and be like, there's a lot of us. I don't know if that's going to work.
No. How many are there in the sort of wagon rabble?
You estimate roughly between 20 and 30 people.
Can we tell if they're Corkeen?
Yeah, it seems to be a mix. Yeah, I think you get a glimpse of blonde hair, and then you see some people that are, different physicality, and yeah, you're thinking it's a mix of kind of common Corkeen and then grasslanders probably.
Oh.
Wow.
All right.
I wonder what they're planning on building.
Okay.
All right.
So real quick, we'll wrap up. Primary XP will probably be all that treasure you stashed, but you didn't get a lot of chance to do. Like nobody did a fighter thing. Stealth or trickery didn't happen. Traits. Did anybody do anything with traits?
No.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it was mostly logistical discussion and treasure stashing. But did you make an exciting discovery? Yes. Everybody gets XP for that. You have not overcome a difficult obstacle, and you did not require any memorable booty. Well, you already required that booty from before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the main XP is the treasure that you socked away.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. We'll just have to have our homework be everybody, get a good night's sleep and then come up with a plan. It's got to have one trick that will turn the tide in our favor, and maybe two tricks, and then a good solid, military strategy aspect to it as well. Okay, and then we'll compare our plans, and whoever comes up with the best one, that's the one.
Are you assigning homework, yeah?
I think we need to work on this one. No. Sometimes as I'm falling asleep, I just come up with crazy, elaborate things like that.
Yeah. That's when I fall asleep. All I do is to put myself to sleep, I just think about this campaign or some other thing. Like, what's happening? Yeah, what's happening there? What's up with the River King?
Yeah. No, I don't know. It was funny, but interacting with that treasure kind of reminded me of all these different things that A, we've gone through, but B, that have been set up and not followed through with. It got me thinking about all the stuff we found in the Wizard's Cave and the Cave of the Beast. The list of names that was crossed out.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff.
The map of the Misty Tooth.
Yeah.
Things he wrote in his journal. Yeah, the names that were crossed off.
There's a lot of good stuff there, but
that's the nature of the sandbox, right? Like you could go anywhere, and look where you guys have gone. You come back home after.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, it's so satisfying.
Liberated your people. It turns out that you're not murder hobos. You're anti-colonialists.
Yeah. Well, we've had a good run, but this is This is going to be tough.
How far are we from Rayuna?
The ambush is only 3 hours out of town, and you guys are 5 hours out of town.
So they might stop for the night somewhere.
It is by the time you reach them, it's mid-afternoon. So, and they're going at a slow rate because they got the wagons. They'll probably try to push to Rayuna, in your estimation, instead of camping outside. Well, actually, maybe they wouldn't want to show up under cover of night. Maybe it would be smarter for them if they camped in the open. So that is a good guess.
Yeah. So Mirren sneaks into camp, hides inside of the wagon, and then when all the craziness breaks loose, Mirren just pops out and gags the hand, and we win.
Like
yeah, checkmate.
Good plan. Sounds good.
Easy.
Can do. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, mull that over.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm pumped. I mean, yeah, we'll definitely be able to use some magic shenanigans but I think some of it just might come down to fighting.
Oh yeah.
You got a bit of a crew behind you, backing you up.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely glad we went to the Devastate and Rayuna before trying to get to the
Yes. I also thought that. It's like, yeah, the difference between us having 40 people at our back versus 0.
Right, and you got that crew on your side. You got Asari and Varpu's gang on your side. You got Asari
Yeah.
and Varpu.
Oh,
I mean,
Barpu's gonna go nuts.
Varpu's like, yeah, she is.
You just need to like point her in the right direction.
Varpu could tell us a lot about who those guys with the shields are. Probably
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
there might be some interesting knowledge.
Yeah, and we've definitely never seen shields like that before. Steel shields.
Yeah, no, that's. I'm trying to think of you. Yeah, they're wooden shields. Sure, they're a thing, but steel shields are a different thing. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be in touch about. I mean, we'll just plan on next week unless there's a problem.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to what crazy thing you do next. I'm excited to see it.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Take it
See ya.
easy, guys.